everybody also smoked tobacco. Like this was back in the 80s when everybody still smoked indoors, and my parents owned a bar, and we were, kids running around in the bar, and everybody smoked. Everybody smoked wherever the fuck they wanted. They smoked in the car, they smoked in the house, they smoked in my bedroom. I did not know life without tobacco smoke. From the time I was born up until I quit smoking myself when I was 28. I didn't start smoking tobacco myself until I was 20. Um, and I think that was probably largely a suicide attempt, if I want to get honest about it. I hate tobacco, and being free of tobacco. Like that's the one thing I did right in recovery. Is I quit smoking, and I'm very thankful that like that monkey is off my back. I have done that successfully, and I do not ever want to go back to it. And that's kind of one of my many causes, if you will. And I'll talk more about that in a good video one day. But it's one of my causes. It's a really important one. I really would like to see people stop smoking. I would like to stop seeing tobacco smoke be normalized. I think through my own personal experience, it's the worst drug there is. I think every time you see somebody that's addicted to a substance, they're also almost always, also addicted to tobacco, and people just turn a blind eye to it. There's been a lot of stuff in the media about the Orlando Pulse shooting. That's something that's really affected my community and hit close to home. And um, there have been other shootings. There was, let's see, the San Bernardino shooting this year. I was in Tucson when Gabrielle Giffords was shot by that crazy schizophrenic motherfucker with a gun. And there's all this talk about gun control and safety and ISIS and terrorism and all this bullshit. And nobody ever talks about health. Nobody ever, I don't see it anyway. I mean, not in a serious way. Like, I don't see people giving something like tobacco and how that's killing people the same attention that they give guns killing people. And tobacco's killed 500,000 people this year, and the year's not over yet. And tobacco's preventable. The only reason it's not illegal is because somebody's making money off of it. Big business is making money off of it. I really do not believe I would be in this condition that I'm in with my lung disease if it were not through all the exposure to tobacco that I've experienced as a child and as an adult. I was a kid in boarding school, and my friends smoked tobacco. Now, I think ever since I was born in 1975, I think ever since I've been alive, the legal age to buy tobacco has been 18, I think. And I think it became illegal to smoke indoors in public places around 1996, if memory serves. But, it's still a problem. Like, I can't hardly leave my house without getting exposed to tobacco, and my social life is grossly diminished. Like, I can't go out. Like, I can't go to a bar. I can't hang out and have a good time with people. I can't, like, meet somebody and go spend the night with them because I never know what I'm walking into, and I'm allergic to everything, and 90% of the cause of my illness is human activities, and I think it's important to make a video about that because I think I'm kind of the canary in the coal mine, if you will. This is happening to me first because, I have a genetic disorder. Um, I have extenuating circumstances. A lot of it is my own fault, and I take responsibility for that. My own lifestyle has contributed to my lung problems. But at the same time, I was not choosing to be born to two parents that smoked and all their friends that smoked and a bar full of people that smoked every day. When I was in junior high school, our teachers used to go in the smoking lounge, like they had a teacher's lounge, and they all smoked in there. And of course the door was closed, so they thought none of us knew it, but tobacco doesn't hide. Um, I grew up with it. When I was in boarding school, it used to just make me crazy that they had all these fucking rules that didn't make any sense, and then like everybody smoked, and I would just sit out, be this 15-year-old kid and go, well, isn't it illegal for all of us to be sitting out here smoking? I mean, none of us are of age. I don't know where everybody got their tobacco from. I never thought about it. But like, I don't ever remember kids, like teenagers, not having access to tobacco when I was growing up. And I don't ever remember them trying to hide it from adults and sneak around with it. It was just like, hey, I'm going to go smoke. Okay, I'll join you. And that's something that's really contributed to my insanity, if you will. I just, and the video with the pot that I'll come back to, I've been a pothead, and I'm not saying that's a pillar of mental health either, but I really do not think marijuana is near as damaging as tobacco. If we were going to compare two substances that you put in your body the same way, I don't think weed is harmless, but I just think about my own experience and what they've done to me, and a drag off a cigarette will send me to the hospital. A face full of secondhand smoke today will send me to the hospital. And it's so addictive, and it's such a nasty, disgusting habit. And the thing that I think a lot of people are not aware of is that it's by design. It is by design. People, like smart, intelligent, wealthy people, have spent time and money and effort researching how to make tobacco as addictive as possible and as dangerous as possible without killing you. There's a list, I need to get it and put it in this video, of chemicals found in tobacco and what other things that they're found in, just to give lay people that don't have a scientific background a perspective. Acetone is in fingernail polish, and acetone is in cigarettes, and you light it on fire and put it in your lungs. Benzene, formaldehyde, arsenic. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on. The paper and the fiberglass, and just there's nothing natural at all about lighting up a cigarette. It's just the most disgusting thing you can do to your body and to everyone else around you. And usually those everyone else's are the people like your lover, the people you care about the most, your family, your children. There was a woman a few years ago, I told her she was abusing her child because she was smoking with them hotboxed in a car, and she was ready to kick my ass. And I'm just like, well, guess the truth hurts. You can kick my ass if you want to, but you're still abusing that child by smoking in a car with them. And I stand by that. And I think that's a crime that needs to be taken a lot more serious, because that child is growing up without a choice. That child might as well just be carrying around a pack of cigarettes, lighting up whenever they want themselves. And the odds of a child that has one or two parents like that growing up to be a smoker themselves is just off the charts. Just when you're exposed to it at a young age, it's just, I don't know how I ever quit smoking tobacco, other than I wanted to because I was dying. So all that stuff, it just makes me crazy. It just makes me crazy. And I hope that I can piece together some videos that help. Hope I can get my experience out there, and maybe it'll change people. Maybe people want to change. I think you have to change from within. If you don't want to quit smoking, nobody's going to make you quit smoking. Even if you want to, it's going to be hard to quit smoking. But it's worth it. I think giving up tobacco is probably both the hardest and most rewarding thing I've ever done with my life, because I have my life. I've been having a rough few days, but I do stuff. I mean, even with my COPD and asthma, I go for a walk every night. I got to go sailing last year. Got to go surfing, skydiving, bicycling. I mean, there's still things I do. I don't do them as well as other people. I don't generally try to go exercise in a group, because ultimately my illness scares people, I think. I think they don't want to be responsible or feel responsible. They don't want to be standing there when I have an asthma attack. They don't want to have to cut their vacation time short, and I get that, but it still hurts. It still hurts my feelings. I think the worst part about being sick, other than the physical pain, because you kind of get used to it and it's kind of all I know. I mean, day in and day out, it's not going to kill me. It does limit me, but I think the worst part of it for me is just the disappointment of not getting to do all the things I want to do. There's just so many things I've wanted to do with my life that I haven't done because of this illness. I wanted to travel, and I've been afraid to. I've been afraid I'll end up in some foreign country, in some small lake town somewhere out in Cambodia or in the Sahara in Africa, and there's no health care and no hospital, and, 4 hours away. I think it would take about 4 hours. I think if memory serves, when I have had my really bad hospital trips, I think I generally can hang on for about 4 hours until I start hypoventilating and getting, what's the word? Is it acidotic? I start, the carbon monoxide starts building up in my system, and that's when I start turning blue, and my oxygen saturation drops, and I can tell when it's dropping quickly. Like 100% is 100%, 98% is needing to go to the hospital, 95% is I could die, 90% is I'm spiraling down really fast, and I think the second time I went into respiratory failure, I saw the oxygen saturation machine hit 80 before I went unconscious. I just went unconscious and passed out because my lungs stopped working, and it was very painful, and I was very present up until the last second, and I remember praying just quietly inside my head and saying, God, I'm not ready to die yet. And I woke up, and at first I passed out, and I didn't feel any pain after that. I kind of dreamed, I think, but I don't know how much of it was me dreaming or was the dying mind, and how much of it was me just filling in the pieces later. But I didn't die. I did wake up, and I do believe in God, largely because of that experience. I do believe that I was heard, and that my prayers were answered, and that there was something bigger than me and outside of me that took charge of the situation, because I couldn't do it anymore. And I think about that a lot lately, because chances are ultimately that is how I'm going to die. And I'm not really scared of it so much as I'm just not ready yet. I still have stuff I want to do. So hopefully making these videos helps fulfill some of that stuff I want to do. I do want to travel more. I want to buy a sailboat and put it in the water in Mexico. That's on my bucket list.